To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I guess it was 2 days ago I told you that we're able to get some firewood down the road from a trailer park. 2 trees had fallen down. The trees were called poplar trees, and I think it's a breed of cottonwood. It's very soft wood. I mean, admittedly, this is going to burn pretty fast, pretty hot. I'm really glad to have it. It's going to save us a lot of firewood from our main pile, and it's going to dry fast. That's the most important thing, is we need cured wood by this fall. And since we don't have a year to let it sit around and cure, this is going to cure in 3 to 4 months. Even if it lasts a month or two, that's a month or two that we don't really have to worry about burning our firewood down there. So here what we have stacked up is close to a half a cord. Plus we have everything laying on the ground. And we have, I don't know, maybe another pile, I don't know, 3/4 of this still laying over there. It's all cut up. All I got to do is get it in the truck. Some of it is so heavy that we're going to have to take our manual log splitter over there and split them up. So we probably will end up with a cord and a half of this stuff, which is fantastic. And then today, the lady who was selling the trailer park stops and says, "Are you the guy that was wanting the firewood?" And I said, "Yeah." Now she's selling it. I talked to the woman who's buying it, and she says, "Well, over there and on a concrete pad is a bunch of wood that you can have also." And so I went over there and looked at that wood also, and it's oak. Huge rounds of oak. I, again, can't lift them. They're too heavy. So I'll take the manual log splitter over there, split those up. There's got to be 8, 12 rounds over there. So that was a big bonus. We got to get the brush, all the limbs and things. We got to get the brush and bring it over here. We'll stack that up over there, and we'll use that for kindling. Well, today I noticed the house is falling down. Our little truck camper that we took off our truck and put on the ground so we could live in temporarily until we get our tiny house built. So to explain what's going on, the back of the camper is very lightweight. We have our shower back here and our stove. The center of our camper is our bed, and then up front, the overhang here is where all the weight is. We have a lot of weight up here. We got 2 batteries, the air conditioner. It's just, there's a ton of weight. Its natural tendency is to want to fall forward, which is exactly what's happened. So here is our drain pipe for our shower right here. And that drains into our garden, which is legal. I know I got to explain that every time I say that. They actually encourage it here in this county that you use biodegradable soap and that you use your shower water to water your gardens and that kind of thing. So I had the shower where it was leaning this direction because the shower drain is just right there on the inside. Well, it's leaning so much now that all the water is accumulating to the back of the shower. Now, I had hoped that I had solved the problem. So I have a brace here on both sides, and that was supposed to hold it up in case it did decide to tilt. Guess that doesn't make a difference, because what happened was the bricks I put underneath it kicked out. So you can see that's pretty significant. So what I got to do, it's not hard to fix. I'm just glad we noticed before the thing fell over or something silly. But I'm just going to jack up the front end. I've left a puddle of water in the shower so I can see which direction the water is going to flow, and we'll get it fixed. All right, so this is the side of the camper that the outdoor wood furnace is on. This is the cold air return to the heat exchanger. So I'm just going to clean up some of these weeds so we don't have so many ticks. And then I'm going to use one of these shims here that I have off the old mobile home trailer where we're building our tiny house. And I'm just going to shim it up. Over here is where I got it propped up. So we're going to have some camera angle issues, but you'll get the idea. So hopefully we'll be able to get this resolved and get the water to drain back to the other direction. We found this scissor jack in Nebraska. We went to a free campsite that had free water and free electric. Nebraska's got a lot of those campsites when we were nomads. This was sitting right by the dumpster. So Carolyn just snagged it up, and man, we've used this for everything. We used it to level the truck camper all the time, so it would take the bounce out of it. Ended up using a second jack. I used the regular truck jack also, and so on the back side of the truck, I put a jack on each side, and we took all the bounce out of it. It was great. So this was a great find. Let's see if we can get it underneath here now. Now, I'm putting it right on the frame of the wall here. I've done this before when we were setting it up. You know, I had to drop this down off the truck, and so we use these jacks to essentially jack it down, front, back, front, back. It was a rough day trying to do that. Already got the weight on it. Boy, that was instant. Oh, something else I'm gonna have to do is I got this right here. This is a fence post. And the fence post is holding the camper down so the windstorms don't knock it over. I gotta loosen that up. So I just use the strap to strap it down. All right, so Carolyn just yelled at me and said the water's going the right direction. So I'm going to give it another half turn, and then I'm going to shim it up. We'll let it down, and then we'll pour more water in the shower to see if it has resolved the issue. So yeah, I can get my fingers up underneath there now. So we'll try to shim it up. All right, let's lower it down. We'll put some water in it and see what happens. So that resolved the problem. I've tried to explain the concept of minimalistic living, how much easier it makes your life. And it really is backwards thinking, not logical at all, that having less stuff is better than having more stuff. I mean, I don't have a lot of tools. Well, how's that better, Rob? You got to have lots of tools. You got to have lots of tools. It makes life easier. But I have less things that needs fixed. So here's a perfect example. The camper had a little bit of an issue. And so I was able to just get a little car jack, not a big 10-ton hydraulic jack that's going to lift a semi-truck, just a little car jack that we found. And so I was able to quickly and easily adjust the camper. Now, had this been a house and the foundation was cracking, you'd have had to have contractors come out and they would have said, oh my goodness, yeah, you got a lot of weight on that one side of the house. I remember this because my grandma had a problem with her house. She had so much weight on one corner, I think it was, that it broke the 2x12 that was supporting the frame. Well, so if my foundation breaks or the subfloor breaks, geez, I'll just pick the thing up, tack a new one on, and be done with it. And just like this, within a 10-minute video, I'll have the thing fixed. I know that a lot of people suggest that I got to have something better for our tiny house than what we're doing. It's just too flimsy. You can't use 2x4 floors. You can't use insulation, and there's just a lot of things you can't use. But for standard construction, where you have a standardized house and you're going to put a lot of things in this house, that's a true statement. But when you know that you're not going to use it for just more than a bed and me and Carolyn walking around in it, but it's so small that we're not doing a lot of walking, that anything that goes wrong is just going to take a few minutes to fix with a minimal amount of tools. So this is how I can live off 800 watts of solar panels and not have a lot of power tools. I got a drill, and Martin gave me a reciprocating saw. Got a little hand saw. I used to call them skill saws, but I don't know what the proper name of them is. Now the skill saw, actually, we can't use with the solar panels. We have to use the generator. So see, every piece of tool that I have, I need to consider, can I actually use it? In this particular case, I got to have the generator, which means I have to have another tool to operate the other tool. So once you start going outside your minimalist thought process, then you have to buy more tools to compensate. I could buy a battery operated saw, and then I could charge it off the solar panel. So then see, and you're thinking minimalistically because you don't have a lot of things you got to fix. Of course, I am wanting to build the tiny house, so I'm going to keep this saw for a little while, and then probably I'll get rid of it. I've got a little grinder, a little hand grinder, that I can run on a solar panel. So all my tools except the saw I can use on the solar panels. And to me, this is a very freeing mindset. That if something breaks, no big deal. I mean, really, if you really think about our house, it's 250 pounds. Now, we have a lot of stuff in it. Like I said, we got batteries and air conditioner and that kind of thing. If I hadn't found the jack in Nebraska, a bunch of guys could come up and lift one side and we could have shimmed it. So really, the simplistic thinking makes things so simple when life gets in the way. Problems happen. And so I'm never stressed. I'm never stressed because I don't have things to stress me out with. I hope that makes sense. And I really hope that I can inspire you to minimize your life and reduce the stress. Thanks for watching.